before you buy a home computer.
Electronic games being heralded by folks in the trade as this year's holiday bestseller.
Children have skipped school or stolen money to play the games.
I'll be looking at the electronic game craze.
And at the end of the tape, I'll be back to tell you how to safeguard your computer.
All right. Hello. I think. Welcome to Streamer News. All right. As usual, as soon as I'm ready to go live, I think everything's ready to go. Something has to die or go wrong. But I think we're solid now. One of the things I wanted to demo may or may not work, so that will be very unfortunate if it can't. But welcome to Streamer News. In today's show, we've got quite the list of topics to talk about, including Shroud returning to Twitch and blowing people away, some cool monitors getting an update, new products coming out that I am super stoked but could not get videos out this week for, so I wanted to at least give them a mention. I'm gonna try to demo the Sony Webcam app here. That's kind of the main, thing everyone kept asking about, as well as talking about Epic versus Apple and things like that. We've got a lot. We're gonna get into it here, just making sure everything is working. Like I said, as soon as I went to go live, the camera died, and so I'm having to make sure everything is working here. Music's a bit loud. All right, we will turn that down. I can't really monitor it here. There we go. Turn that down. Oh, I did turn it up. That was silly. All right, turned it down. So I wanted to make a couple notes. First and foremost, face autofocus is back on my primary camera. I was having some issues in previous streams where it would just focus on the CRT here or on, issues. It wasn't really grabbing my face like it used to, and I was really confused because I used to always use this camera with an Atomos external video recorder, and face detect autofocus works perfectly fine with it. In the menus, thanks to Gerald Undone and a video of his from 2018, in the menus there is a setting for Sony a6400 to turn it to HDMI only mode, at which point face detect autofocus comes back. So that was an issue I was running into. Also, I still had this camera set in standard temperature shutoff mode, which is why it shut off during my first Streamer News Season 2 episode. So now I turned that back up to high, and it shouldn't shut off during today's stream. I've also got the fan going just to be safe. I'm guessing at some point all of my settings in my A6400 got reset. I can't really explain otherwise why the heck all of this stuff that I was using before got reset, but that seems to be the issue. So welcome back to Streamer News. We got some juicy stuff to talk about. Well, not really. I mean, we got some topics to talk about. Hope everybody had a great week. It was a long and it was a rough week for me. I just realized I did not yet tweet out and Discord out that the stream is live, so I'm just gonna press the annoy everyone button here. But yeah, this week was pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's been quite the week, but I think we're getting into it here. So we're gonna jump on into topic numero uno, and that is that Shroud returned to Twitch after taking a mini vacation, blowing his $10 million on a private island, supposedly, in a private jet back to a WoW raid, and coming back looking like freaking Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems. Shroud returned to Twitch seemingly as an exclusive partner. There's no details or anything like that coming out about the contract that he had, but he did return to Twitch seemingly exclusively, which is really his home. Like, he kept saying he was coming home. I said when he went to Mixer that it was a little weird because IMO Twitch was his home. Twitch culture, like everybody that I know in real life that makes references to Twitch emotes and things like that say like poggers or whatever as a joke, mostly got that from his chat and things like why do heck and stuff like that. Like, his chat was the good side of Twitch culture. There's a bad side of Twitch culture, but his chat was kind of the good side of Twitch culture. He was always like heavily involved in that IMO. So to me, Twitch always was his home, but impressively, he came back to an astounding max concurrent viewers of 516K, which is insane. That is a massive return, and that kind of undermines some of the arguments even I was making about Doc's return back to YouTube after getting banned from Twitch, in that I said that a part of the reason he had such a big return And obviously that was part of the reason, but I said he was boosted by the whole mystery surrounding him getting banned from Twitch. And, you know, all of that was why he had a 500k return versus a 100k return for Ninja. Well, Shroud almost beat that. Ended up versus Doc's return here. Doc had a max concurrent viewers of 517k versus 516k. Not a big difference, but during gaming, Shroud actually had a peak concurrent viewer count of 488k, which did beat Doc's return. So that's pretty crazy that Shroud is still kicking so much butt, and especially over on Twitch, which means, you know, Twitch ain't dead yet, as some of the people were kind of trying to claim. So pretty cool. They both, again, are just blowing away Ninja's return. I think I talked about this last time in streamer news, but I really see Ninja as moving more towards the kind of mainstream representation of streaming, doing more Hollywood stuff, more, you know, appearance things, and kind of being more retired on the actual streaming front as he kind of loses relevance to the hardcore streaming viewership. So that's kind of interesting to see. Next up, we have the EVE Spectrum monitors, which is, if you're unfamiliar, EVE monitors are supposed to be a built by gamers for gamers monitor company that have some very impressive specs for the price for their monitors. Well, they posted an update of why they haven't been able to ship yet. They're hoping to ship in Q4, some behind the scenes of their prototype testing and their quality assurance and things like that. And they take a jab at Samsung, because Samsung actually had to recall some of their G9 and G7 Odyssey monitors, apparently due to scaler issues. And so they're trying to make sure that, especially as a smaller newcomer company, they don't have to face anything like that. And so their monitors are coming soon. I don't have one pre-ordered. I don't really have the opportunity to check it out just yet, but I do hope I get to check one out soon, because I've heard a lot of hype generated for these. I don't know how they're getting the prices as low as they are compared to some of the bigger companies, but I'm excited to see what comes of that, because IMO, the prices are competitive enough that it may start, you know, changing up the monitor scene a little bit, because currently most of the higher end monitors just keep getting more and more absurdly priced. And so having a little competition and ones that focus on ideally what gamers actually want out of them could be pretty cool. We had a new product release. We had three, actually, I should point out. We had three product releases relevant to my content this week that I wanted to cover, and I was only able to cover one. And of course, we'll talk about that in a moment. One of those products that I did not get to cover is a new version of the RetroTINK 2X Pro, which is this upscaler device. I've covered the RetroTINKs in my How to Upscale Your Retro Games in OBS video, and I've talked about them off and on quite a bit. These are wonderful devices to let you connect your S-Video, composite, or component video systems, so PS1, PS2, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, GameCube, all of that, and get a nice clean 480p output to either play on your TV or then pump into OBS and stream or record or whatever. And using my video about how to upscale them in OBS the right way, you can get some amazing quality captures out of that, even scaled up to 4K. This is how I do a lot of the stuff that you all ask me about. Well, the limitation of the RetroTINK is that it doesn't accept, or at least the previous models do not accept 480p input. Now the PS2 and the Xbox are the primary systems you'd be getting 480p from, and then if you have component cables for the GameCube, that can output some games at 480p as well. This literally wouldn't accept it at all, so you're limited to 240p or 480i. Well, this new multi-format RetroTINK 2X Pro will accept 480p input, so your original Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 games that run at 480p can now be passed through at 480p here. But the difference is, there is a difference in the scaler method from the original. The original uses integer scaling or nearest neighbor kind of scaling, where it's best for 2D games, pixel art games, sprite games, upscales them the sharpest way possible, whereas this one uses bilinear scaling. So this works better for 3D games, especially from like the PS2. This is perfect to pair with the PS2. I'd actually planned on hooking all of this up to demo this in today's stream, and I just ran out of time last minute because too many hiccups kept coming up, but I will have a dedicated video out coming on it soon. So these are technically different devices for different purposes, even if they do different things. Someone in chat's asking, are SNES games 360p? No, they are roughly 240p. Most of old games don't run at actual like resolutions in the same way, but in terms of what we consider modern video formats, they run at 240p. Now, the second product that came out today, or this week rather, was the new Deity V-Mic D4 Duo. This is an incredible microphone built for content creators that I do not understand why was not released years ago, because it's such an obvious thing. When you are vlogging or recording with your camera and you flip your camera back and forth, you have to flip your microphone if you want it to really pick yourself up. And so if you know, anytime I've done a video where I'm like holding it out selfie style, recording myself, and then I put it, you know, facing forward and start recording something else, my audio quality gets really trashed because now you're behind the microphone in the rejection path. This microphone solves that by putting two capsules on it and then splitting them off in the stereo channel. So one, you know, the front is left, the rear is right, and you can record both sides for content creators. And in fact, I do have that set up for a demo here. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch on over to this side cam. Where did that button go? Now, do keep in mind my fan is on and this microphone is not running through the EQ and compressor that my normal microphone is running through. And we're talking about a $1,000 microphone versus an $89 microphone. But IMO, for being such a tiny shotgun microphone that sits on your camera, this audio quality is actually pretty impressive, especially once you add some post-processing on top of it. IMO sounds pretty good, but you can be the judge. And again, I will have a whole video on this. I just wanted to go ahead and have a little fun showing it off here in today's stream, because it might be a while, because I'm a busy guy at this point with new dad life is crazy, and I'm actually cutting back on the number of videos I can release, because, oh boy. All right, switching back to main mic and going back over here. Aha. Well, obviously that's not the only Duo product that released today, and if you missed it, we had a second product with Duo in the name also released today. That was supposed to be playing already. The Live Gamer Duo from AVerMedia. This is a capture card that has two inputs, one for your camera, one for your game. It's pretty cool. It's 250 bucks, and I have a full review up on my channel if you'd like to go check it out, because it is something, again, that should have been made years ago, but I think is pretty cool regardless. Also, by the way, this video is playing on my side monitor, which is the BVM CRT, and it looks freaking gorgeous. Even though it's 4K downsampled to 720p, it looks awesome. Anyway, so that was three major products that typically, like historically, on my channel, I would have been able to cover, you know, back to back to back. I would have had all three videos at some point this week and been like, heck yeah. But given that I have a fraction of the video creation time that I normally do, it's just not reasonable. And I was up till 3 a.m. the night before that AVerMedia video came out, finishing that video. And I'm just not willing to somehow push even further beyond that to make that happen for another one at this point. I think I'm kind of approaching the point where, yeah. So, hang on, what is that saying? All right, we got one more topic. Actually, we got two more topics here before we go. Not finished, but for the break. In that, whee! So Twitch added a new feature to chat that seemingly nobody likes or asks for, and that is nested replies or reply threads in chat, in which you can click to reply to a thread in chat, and it will then put that reply under the first one so that you know who's responding to. Theoretically, this would work more like forums or Facebook comments or YouTube comments, where you can more clearly see who's replying to what and not just have to at each other over and over and over. The problem is that it clogs up chat, because now instead of one message just showing one at a time, it is showing that same message over and over and making, you know, inflating chat, which as a creator would make it much more difficult to keep up with. And so that can be pretty frustrating. Plus, CoCarnage here, actually this is Sir Sloth found out here. I think CoCarnage retweeted it, that's why I was saying that. You can't actually copy text from chat anymore. Now this is a niche issue, but if you're copying links or trying to get anything whatsoever out of here, you don't have the option to copy that anymore. And that can be pretty annoying. So that was just a thread kind of talking about that. I get why they think that it was a good idea. And in theory, with some UI changes, it could be a good idea. But overall, it just seems to make chat messier. And it just doesn't work how I think they expected it to. Next up here, Toshiba, a company I have not heard anyone talk about in a little while, announced that they're no longer going to make or sell consumer laptops. Now, at one point in time, my entire family was using Toshiba laptops. They were affordable, they weren't always great, they were often made of cheap plastic, but we loved them just because we could afford them and keep getting them. And they have announced that they're ditching that because they have been struggling for a while to turn a profit, and so they're trying to focus here on getting I hate autoplay videos. They're trying to focus here on the B2B premium laptop market in order to really, try to make more money. And so hopefully it's successful for them, but it is kind of weird that a company that at one point in time was the only company anybody I knew, locally ever looked to for laptops because of pricing, they're just not making them anymore. It's weird. So I wanted to address a comment in chat here, and I really hope I get a feature one day where I can just pull a chat message into stream like StreamYard has. Where did it go? I think it was Neutron PCXT here was asking for some context on capture cards. And I think they're just asking for what they're looking for, like in general, like what they're for, I guess. And I've covered them a lot on my channel, but I haven't really sat down and made a what is a capture card video, or do you need a capture card? Basically, this takes your video signals either from a second PC or a camera input, a game console, a microscope. There's lots of things that output via HDMI or a video signal, and then it captures and digitizes it so you can use it on a dedicated computer to either record or live stream or make videos of or take screenshots of. That was the original use, was for screen grabbing, screenshots, not actual video. They were adapted to support multiple frames per second for video. This is how back in the 90s, when you saw magazines of video games, either they took a picture of the screen or they used video grabbers for it. And so this one in particular is 2 capture cards in one. That way you can have a camera and a game system running in at once, so you can do a setup like this. And so that's primarily what they're for. What a lot of people seem to mistake is that they think they need them in a single PC streaming setup for just streaming PC games. And in 99% of cases, there's no advantage to this. It doesn't help performance. In many cases, it makes performance worse. And it doesn't do any of the video encoding work for you. You don't even want that anyway, because it would be worse quality. So all it does is take a signal that otherwise your computer wouldn't be able to accept and digitizes the video signal into a format your computer can accept. So on a single PC setup, the only situation where it would be somewhat useful is for games that can't be streamed through game capture hooks, such as Destiny 2 and recently Counter-Strike Source. You have to do a lot of workarounds to make that work now, which not a lot of people are willing to do. And so those are some niche situations where if you don't want to use window capture or display capture due to performance reasons, a capture card would be a handy workaround. But otherwise, on a single PC streaming the PC content setup, there's no point. So I will have a full dedicated video coming soon, because yeah, even though a certain other channel used some of my testing methodology to make their own, I think there's a lot more to talk about. So I will have my own coming soon, but again, I have a never-ending list of videos and not always a lot of time to make them. So we're gonna cut to ad break real quick. I got some cool stuff to unbox and show you, and then we have some more topics to talk about that include one of the things that I'm sort of unboxing. So I'll be right back. Whee! Did I say Counter-Strike Source? Yes, I meant CSGO. My bad. Every time I see Counter-Strike, I think Source. Go is just dead to me, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully you can hear the ads this time. Wait, there's no audio at all? What? Hold up. Oh my god, I hate streaming sometimes. Hold up, we're gonna make this work. We're finally gonna fix this. Oh my god. How did it break? It was just working. Alright, I'm gonna cut to it again. Hold on. Alright, I think I fixed it.
Alright, you know you need better stream graphics, but you're not sure what to do. I've got some good news for you. NEWZ's summer sale has been extended through August 23rd. That's right, they've basically kept this sale going all month. So there's really no excuse to have boring
audio. It's
streaming
right
graphics.
there. What do you mean?
Head on
no?
over to eposvox.gg/nerderdie and save 25% on anything in the store. Don't miss it. Here's their Overdrive stream package, for example. Here's a sick background you get from the Nova Pixel Art pack. And as I leave you, here's a stick stinger from the Interface pack. Bye! You ever look at the Elgato Stream Deck and think, man, I wish I could have all of that power in the palm of my hands? Well, now you can. Install the app on iOS or Android, connect your Stream Deck software on PC, and start setting up your program launchers, CPU monitors, button to control your key lights, and stream scene switching, all within minutes. It doesn't get much easier than this. Try it free with the link in the video description.
Sega is rolling out a new video game console this week.
It's one world. Why view it through two windows? Panasonic introduces the 36-inch SVGA TV.
Computer.
Yes, sir. We have many new tools at the warehouse. What do you need?
I hear we've had some new tools come in that might help our fellow streamers take over the world.
Processing. Processing. The new GComp switches.
No, they're not ready for that yet.
Processing. What about a new RetroTINK that no one's ever seen before?
Boring. You know the tool that I want.
Processing. We have a new AVerMedia card with 2 inputs on 1 card.
Nani? Bring it to me, now. With this, we will take over the streaming world.
Place your order now!
Okay, well... I tried, guys. Okay, I tried. Also, there's still discussion about capture cards going on here. Neutron says it will never capture raw video. That is incorrect. It'll never capture raw video, as in raw sensor data, because that's not how capture cards work, and your game console isn't outputting that. But you can totally capture completely uncompressed video as it's being sent to the capture card. That is completely there. Like, you can capture the raw YUY2 or XRGB video. That is definitely possible. That's always been possible. Well, with capture cards that support it. But you want to compress it in 99% of cases. So, yeah. First up on the unboxings here, we have Retro Game Treasure. This is a video game subscription box service, which I realize not everybody's a fan of. I used to do the whole like loot crate thing back in the day, and it was never really worth it, but this is for actually beefing up your game collection. You can go in and select which games you want, or which categories of games you want, and it will send you out a selection of those based on what they bring in from there. It's relatively reasonably priced for what you get. So in this month's box here, I get a Squaresoft Japanese game that honestly I don't recognize off the top of my head. I would probably recognize it if I saw the title again. But I do have foreign games in my collection as stuff that I would want. We got Wipeout Pure, PSP. We've got PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale on... That's funny, it says Battle Royale. On PS3. I think I already have this. This one's sealed though. But this is a different version of what I have. So it might be fine. But I will probably sell this off. See, you can specify very clearly, like you can even go in, I think, and say, I have X, Y, and Z game. And then... that's some aging plastic right there, yeah. You can go in and say, like, you already have X, Y, and Z game, and it won't send you those, or you can specify which category, or which genre, which systems, all of that. I have it completely open. So that's why I get some weird stuff like this that you may think is not worth getting. It's because I have it set to literally send me anything and everything just because I wanted to see. And we have Jet Li Rise to Honor on PS2. I'm imagining this is really bad, but it looks like a lot of fun, and so we might stream it at some point because it just looks so much fun as how ridiculous it is. Hugh Wong, you look fine, even though I realize you do not need my approval. Please shave your beard, please. Well, now I'm definitely never shaving my beard. Plus, you already said I look fine, so why would I shave it? Then I would no longer look fine. Weird. Technical Gaming with the $5 Super Chat unboxed this $5 Whopper exclusively at Burger King. This message brought to you by Burger King, the king of burger establishments. If you're not aware what that's referencing, we're actually going to talk about that at the end of the stream today. That's one of our last topics. It's a pretty amusing situation to me. It's making people kind of mad, but I find it kind of amusing. Completely uncompressed YUV is not a good idea. Sure it is. You need it sometimes. I do a lot of stuff. This is why I have an 8 terabyte RAID 0 of NVMe drives that I can record to, because there are situations where you want completely uncompressed RGB data or YUV data. It takes a lot of bandwidth, but sometimes you need it. 123 megabits per second isn't even that much, so that's not even a high bit rate. All right, secondly, on the unboxing, I actually had a few more listed in the show doc, and I am not able to use or talk about those for the stream. But second for our unboxing, I got in this beautiful 8x2 automatic switcher from, it's the GComp switch. I picked it up from Castlemania Games. There will be an affiliate link to that with a coupon code in the description below. This bad boy will accept component, composite, or if you want to split it out, S-video, and I think you could even sort of rig it for RGB, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. With audio, you have 8 inputs, and it automatically switches between them, and 2 outputs. So it's kind of like a matrix, but you can't control which goes to which, so it's more like a switch and a splitter combined together. So you can put in 8 consoles or game systems or whatever, send it out to 2 outputs, so you can send one to your TV that you're playing on if you play on CRTs, and the other to an upscaler unit, like the RetroTINK, and then capture that and stream it. Pretty freaking cool. I've been waiting for the, I've been waiting for this thing for months. It is awesome. I really want a burger now, just not from Burger King. Yes. Why use FFV1? There are situations. You do not have all the answers. I assure you, Neutron. I assure you. Trust me, I would not be dealing with that bandwidth if I didn't have it. Lastly, I wanted to give a shout out to Vapor95. They're actually where I got this America Online tank top. It has ASL question mark on the back. I also got some shorts. I'm not going to show those off on stream. Y'all have been asking about some of the more aesthetic, clothes that I've been rocking in videos because I got tired of wearing plain t-shirts and things like that. Vapor95 has a lot of stuff that appeals directly to my aesthetic. So I've got a lot of cool shirts you'll be seeing in videos and things like that, especially as it gets cooler. And this is one of them. I love getting this kind of stuff because it's just adds that extra little touch to the content when it's already part, of my brand and everything else. So pretty freaking cool there. I'm gonna hit the BRB button real quick so I can set up a demo because you all keep asking about it. So give me just a sec. Okay, we're back. So hopefully that worked. It's having trouble autofocusing though. So someone asked if the GComp switch is passive or powered. It is powered. It would have to be for the automatic switching for the most part. So a big topic for today that everyone has been asking about, of course, is I have a link to it somewhere, right here. So Sony has released, finally, after promising it would happen in July, they have released a new Imaging Edge webcam tool. So you can use your Sony camera, and they support a lot of cameras here, including the A7S, A7S II, A5100, which I talk about all the time, A6400, 6500, 6300, 6600, the NEWZ V1, and even some of the RX100 cameras as well. It supports all of them here, which is pretty cool. The only one that it seems weird it doesn't support is the A6000, and I guess the A5000. So if you have those cameras, it does not support them, but you download it and install it, and then you get to go from, if you're, this is the A6400 connected via a 4K capture card running in native 4K. This is what you get if you connect the A6400 over USB and use the imaging webcam app. Or it cannot detect. It was just working. Come on. Hang on one sec. It's because I had, the battery died. I had to unplug and replug. It should kick in, please. Pretty please. Cherry on top. Oh, come on. This thing is super unreliable. I will say that. Let me turn it off and back on. It detected. It kicked me into sort of 16:9. Is it really not going to work? It was just working before the stream. Boo! What the hell? Yep, it's not gonna work. That's hilarious. When I go to actually demo it and try to show it off, that's hilarious. How is it not gonna work? All right, I got one more idea and then I'll stop doing this. Let's do... this is silly. Any second now. Do 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 do. It's really just not gonna. It's just saying connecting now. It's not even gonna try to work. Holy crap, dude. What about in the camera app? Hello? This is hilarious. Well, this is how reliable their program is, by the way. This is the issue I ran into the whole time before I even started my stream. I was like, oh hey, I finally got it working. It'll be fine now. Smile. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do anything. Well, so the point I was gonna make is that it only streams 1024 by 576 at 30 FPS, and it is incredibly noisy. You have to be in manual photo mode instead of video mode, and so by being when you put your camera in photo mode and then stream it over HDMI, it's also a lot more noisy, but it's way more noisier than this. It's sub 720p, so it's really low resolution and soft, and the frame rate is not very stable. And in this particular case, it's not going to connect at all. I'm actually going to go move the USB port for it real quick, but I wanted to mention that. The frustrating part, so that part on its own doesn't really surprise me very much, that it's very low resolution. You see, all of these webcam apps that all of the camera manufacturers have released have been based on the tethering preview for shooting photos connected to your computer. And that is usually very low resolution. That is what the only webcam functionality built into most DSLRs and mirrorless cameras released in a very long time. That's all they have, is a low resolution, low frame rate preview meant for photo shooting. So what they've done is they've scrambled during this COVID mess here to build a different version of it that sort of acts as a video streaming webcam. The frame rate's usually choppy and it's limited in resolution as a result. My problem here is that they specifically said, they came out and said after they announced and released the Sony ZV-1, which I reviewed a couple weeks ago, and they conveniently ended my review period right before the app came out, despite the fact that my entire review request was based on this app existing. They said it was built with that in mind, so you'd think that would be the camera to show how cool this is. Nope, in fact, when you look at it, someone sent me a picture, that is not the right scene, you can see this again. Even the Sony ZV-1 connected only goes to 1024 by 576 at 30 FPS. So even the camera that has USB 3 that they claimed was built for this feature is limited in that resolution. And that is incredibly disappointing. I would not expect any older camera to really support anything else because they're not built for that. But a new camera that was just coming out this year that they were like, yeah, it's gonna work, it didn't work. That's just baffling to me. So I'm actually going to switch this USB port real quick just to see if I can show you how crazy different the quality is. It's the whole reason I set it up here. I have two exact identical A6400 and lens combinations specifically to demo this. So the fact that it doesn't work is really bothering me. So I'm going to try one more thing real quick, and if it doesn't work, we will move on to the next topic. That didn't sound good. Nope. It's not even trying to connect. Like, the entire camera is just like, nah, I don't want to connect. Like the app isn't even recognizing it. That's how weird this is. USB reset? What is that? Yes. They have a USB reset button. Oh, it did it. All right. Is it going to try to connect again? I don't think it is. Oh, I think it may have worked this time. Famous last words. Oh, it worked. It worked. We're here. You can see how low frame rate it is. This is even connected to a USB 3.0 shirt. Port. Let me turn up the ISO. So now I am matching the settings of my other A6400. So we have 4K through a capture card. We have the Imaging Edge app. Exact same settings, exact same camera, exact same lens. Could your USB ports be at limit? Not on here at the moment. There's not any reason for them to be. It was a little better on the previous port that I tried, but you're definitely not getting 1080p 60 out of it. Now, this isn't as noisy as before. Before, I could only get it working in the photo mode. And in the photo mode, it was way more noisy in the background. This is in video mode, and now it's working in video mode. And so it's nowhere near as noisy as before. But yeah, it's pretty dark. It's just as bright as the other view. In fact, this one's darker. I don't have my white balance settings set up right. In fact, my skin looks clearer on here because I switched key lights here. I'm actually switching lighting settings, and so I got a lot of yellow going on that I don't normally have. Auto is supposed to be better for frame rate. How does that make any sense? All right, I'll set it to auto. All right, it's on auto. Now it's just not detected at all. Yeah, now it's not gonna work. I think I have to run the USB reset again. The ISO on the other camera is cranked. No, both of these cameras are at ISO 400. Shutter speed 1/60, f1.4. They were matched exactly setting for setting. Exact same light. They are basically right next to each other. They were matched setting for setting. And now it's not detecting at all. It's just stuck on connecting again. So this, my friends, has been a demo of Sony's Imaging Edge webcam app and how silly it is. To be fair, this is not just crapping on Sony. This is how the experience with most of these apps have been. There is some experience with, some of the user experience has been better than this, but overall, this has been the same overall, experience of most of these webcam apps. Before proceeding to stop it below, first set the camera to auto mode. After launching the live streaming web conferencing app, then change it to movie mode? How does that make any sense? Also, those instructions aren't even on the page for this. They don't even have that here. Oh wait, there is a separate how to use button. Oh hey, look at that. Yeah, I already did all that. You have to change some settings. That's funny. Yeah, for smooth movement, try auto mode. That just doesn't make sense. That's hilarious. All right, I'm gonna turn off the camera now so I don't kill another battery. All right. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, so that was that demo. Everybody kept asking about it. There you go. That's the Sony webcam app. Just to be clear, literally even the $15 capture card, can't link and things like that is a better result than what you get there. Just to be clear, that's a much better experience. So, it just made me really bothered. So next in today's topics, after we wasted way too much time on that, next in today's topics, Halo Infinite was delayed until 2021. Now, this caused, of course, a lot of console war nonsense of, Xbox doesn't have anything to launch and blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, this was the right choice. They faced a lot of delays getting this video game together, and they faced a lot of issues, and clearly, they even stated, basically, the graphics system in the demo they showed us was not complete. The fact that they said, we will have a ray tracing lighting system coming later just showed how completely unfinished it was, because ray tracing is the big graphical improvement that you would see moving from last gen to next gen. From Xbox One X to Xbox Series X, ray tracing is the only real major improvement that you got from one to the other. And so, other than just raw horsepower. And so for that main selling point to be delayed itself shows that they were completely unfinished. So I actually recorded a video with BBK Dragoon. We will have it linked in the video description, and hopefully mods will be posting it in chat, assuming I had it in my description. I did not, so I will post it in chat myself here. I recorded a video with my buddy BBK Dragoon in which we talked about this, the implications of it, and what we think will be coming along with it, what we think the impact of this will be on the Xbox sales, as well as, Halo overall, and why we really think it's the right choice, even if it kind of stinks in the short run. So be sure to go check out that video, because we had a lot to say, and I think it was worth watching. Overall, the graphics in the game were not bad. What was specifically a problem with it were the lack of shadows and just some extra polish that was missing. And that extra polish seemed like it was completely just a post-processing miss. It seemed like there was a whole layer of their pipeline that wasn't quite finished yet. And so I do think that it will look even better once they finally finish it up. And there were probably some other things on the back end. Really, for them to have delayed it this much, it wasn't just the graphics. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that if people just complained about the graphics, they probably wouldn't have delayed the game. They clearly had some serious actual infrastructure pipeline based issues going on with finishing the game that caused it to be delayed. They didn't need to delay it for the graphics, because that would have been fine. There's a lot more behind the scenes that wasn't finished with it. Gotta pause this. So next up, there is a brewing feud. Actually, we're not getting to that yet. First up, Discord adds some new features. They added multi-stream desktop support, so you can watch multiple streams at the same time. This will be really cool once we continue community game night over on our Discord server, epostfox.gg/discord. Please join us. Once we continue community game night, there will be the opportunity, because we usually just stream it on Discord. People who aren't playing can just watch. You can now pull up everybody's stream and watch it once. They also added the ability to video chat while you screen share in DMs, not in servers yet, but in DMs. You can video chat while you screen share, which is pretty cool. Their video features are getting really powerful. So I really appreciate that they have been working on this, and it is pretty cool. Now, next up, there is a brewing feud between, that audio is playing, between Epic Games and Apple, as well as Google Play. Now, there is this wonderful video from Devin Nash, as he's drinking water here, that I would highly recommend you watch, because he explains it very well. Because the issue is not incredibly focused on the specific cost of V-Bucks or the added cost, but rather Epic wants the ability, just like they wanted to take on Steam and become their own gaming store on PC and take some of that money away from Steam and make it for themselves. They want to do that on mobile, on both Android and Apple. So the entire wording of their lawsuit against Apple, which they had planned the second Fortnite was removed from the store. This was all planned from the get-go. This wasn't reactionary. They specifically got banned on purpose. The entire language of it and wording of it is so that they can establish their own mobile gaming store on mobile to get some of that money for themselves and to break open the ecosystem, and that's something that they know Valve, for example, would not be prepared to jump into, whereas Epic probably has their own like version of a mobile gaming store ready to launch as soon as they supposedly win this lawsuit. And they've already launched with some really goofy merch here, free Fortnite playing on Apple's 1984 stuff. I feel like their allusions or connections to Apple's 1984 marketing is like a massive reach. Like it's really lazy and dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But overall, like they are focused on this. And it's really interesting to see Epic go this way, because Epic has always had a kind of royalties focused income strategy, in that their licensing and royalties for Unreal Engine has been kind of their main backbone, especially after they stopped releasing some of the major titles and sold them off like Gears of War. But to have completely dropped basically all premise of developing games other than Fortnite to focus on just being a store and licensing hub and dropping things that they never finished like Unreal Tournament 4 feels really crappy. So I don't think I really support either company in this regard. Like, yeah, Apple's 30% charge is kind of ridiculous. They shouldn't be taking that much, but a lot of Apple people seem to defend it. But also, I don't think Epic should necessarily establish their own store. Every time a new phone company launches a phone with their own app store, it's a mess because it needs curated. It needs a lot of work. You know, all of this. I don't think we need another app store in the market, personally. Epic disagrees. It's just a big mess, and I don't know. At the same time, I feel like everyone's been saying Fortnite is dead for a while and having many complaints about it. So, like, what will be Epic's real driving factor when Fortnite is no longer popular? What will be their main driving force? Because, like, the whole, what I saw as value proposition of the Epic Game Store was that they had all of these Fortnite players ready to go that they could then target at other games. Once Fortnite fizzles out of relevance, who's going to be checking Epic Game Store? I was looking around for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, and I was confused. I was like, are they not even releasing it on PC? No, they're releasing it on Epic Game Store. So naturally, I couldn't find it anywhere that I would check as a PC gamer. So I don't know. It's a big mess. I don't necessarily support either company. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I do, however, highly recommend you go watch Devin Nash's video over here, if I can get my cursor on here, as he kind of talks through, he's rubbing his nose now, as he talks through the whole thing and explains it, because he does a really good job and has some pretty valid points there. But I just think it's a pretty crazy situation overall, IMO. Next topic was a 2-for-1, and a kind of disappointing one at that, in that Mozilla laid off 25% of its staff due to budgetary reasons, and then took a multi-million-dollar deal with Google to replace to lock in the default search engine for Firefox as Google. Now, of course, Firefox has lost a significant amount of user base and popularity over the years, so it makes sense that however they were making money, they're making a lot less of it. But they clearly just locked in a crap ton, and their CEO is making a boatload of money, and they still laid off 25% of their staff. And some of the staff previously have said they don't know how they can maintain Mozilla support with some of the things that they shut down, like involving the Mozilla Developer Network. So I feel like Firefox may just crumble at some point, but it's really crappy to have seen and really disappointing overall when CEOs and companies do this. It's just like, let's just make more money and pay less people. And it's just like, but why? So we got some mostly smaller fun topics here to wrap up today's stream. A developer has released a build of a level of the Green Hill Zone of Sonic the Hedgehog for Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo. This has been like blowing everyone's minds, because that was a big thing back in the day, was that Sonic couldn't run on Super Nintendo. That was a big selling point of the Sega consoles back in the day. And here it is, running mostly like real to, completely accurate to the original game on Super Nintendo hardware. There's a couple little fine-tuned details that aren't entirely there, and some of those could actually be smoothed over, with time, but it's still pretty freaking crazy to see happening. And I kind of want a community, because this guy is just one guy making the tech demo. It's not meant to be a full video or full game in and of itself, but I would kind of like a community to pick it up and like finish it and release the whole game, because it's pretty freaking bonkers IMO.
I just don't know where to begin. This just came completely out of left field.
Pretty crazy. My phone is going off here. There is a wonderful video you're seeing on screen from Digital Foundry that I will have mods link in chat, because they did a great job covering all the details of it, how it compares to the original and all of that, because it is pretty cool. Next up, I can finally announce that after we talked about it last week, Jon Prosser and his Front Page Tech YouTube channel has officially been restored. They're still working on getting all the subscribers back and all the videos posted back online, but he finally has access to it again and is in control of it. It took 2 weeks. Like, well, okay, this one was like right after, the day after. Actually, no, it wasn't. When was this? Yeah, this was a week after our last Streamer News episode. It took them like 3 total weeks from when his channel got taken over to getting it back online, which is insane, because yes, really cool that they were able to restore it, that they were able to get it back, and you know, he's super grateful for that, but you can't undo the damage that was done to that channel as a result of it in many ways. There's the issue of people who unsubscribed and thought he was the one who was streaming, you know, they didn't know what channel it was. They were like, what the heck is this Elon Musk channel? Why is it streaming a Bitcoin scam? Unsubscribe. There's a lot of subscriber drop off. And then there's the search and discovery system, the algorithmic, you know, algorithmic implications of having a YouTube channel taken offline for weeks on end and not having any views or, you know, recommendations or anything like that. There's a lot that could impact his channel as a result of that. And it's really crappy that this happened, but at least he got it back, and hopefully that's the end of that saga and things keep rolling smoothly from there. If you were unaware, September 1st will be when the NVIDIA announcement for their next generation gaming graphics cards will be happening. They have a countdown available on the website. They've been doing some cool, really cool early 2000s gaming posts on their Twitter and Instagram accounts, just kind of diving back through the history, showing screenshots of old games and YouTube and their old graphics cards and stuff. Pretty cool stuff there. So that's been getting me excited. Hopefully they're priced reasonably, because yeah, but there will be some cool stuff on the streaming side to cover as well that we can talk about more in time. Facebook is, wow. Okay, Dark Reader, that broke. Hang on. I've been using the Dark Reader extension because my monitors get so bright with white screens that when the baby's asleep, it actually disrupts his sleep. So I'm trying to, when he's sleeping next to me, so I've been trying to use Dark Reader for this, but it breaks on some websites. Facebook is absorbing Instagram DMs into Facebook Messenger. So they're starting to merge all of their apps, and people are concerned that they will, include WhatsApp in that in the future as well. It's a little weird. It doesn't make sense to me to separate a messaging service from the platform that it's for into another app. Like, that just fragments things so much, but there's already like 50 Facebook and Instagram apps. Like, if you look at the official apps for Facebook and Instagram on the Google Play Store, there are so many of them because they have just fragmented every freaking feature on the planet out of everything. It's really bizarre. I'm not sure I understand it, and I guess there could be some concerns for people if if they do merge WhatsApp into it, since that's supposed to be a little bit more secure, but overall it's just an oddity more than anything else, I guess. This is really cool. There's a company who is developing an autofocus module for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, because it has no continuous autofocus. It has like a one-shot autofocus that only sort of works if it's anything like my Ursa, and that's it. And there's a company developing a full rangefinder focus controller here that you can use continuous autofocus with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K and 6K. It uses LiDAR range-finding systems, only about 200 euros, so 250 bucks maybe. It's pretty crazy. And I'm very excited to see what comes of that, because that could add a lot of functionality for certain users who need it into that Pocket Cinema camera 4K, which is pretty cool. A couple complaints about YouTube that I wanted to talk about here. So first and foremost, YouTube email notifications are gone for good. They have decided that there are 0.1% of people who actually open the email notifications, and therefore they are shutting them down. This is disappointing for a few reasons. One, because there are people who still use it. It's always frustrating, especially when Google and YouTube do it, because there's seemingly a lot of people who use features that Google and YouTube shut down. But also because this is another situation where they kind of further obfuscated the ability to really control your email subscriptions. And in some cases, according to Zaymar, those controls never even worked. And for example, I've been fighting for the opposite for years, in that my main YouTube channel, I don't get email notifications in terms of actual channel issues. So like content ID claims, copyright strikes, demonetization. I don't get the emails that you're supposed to get for those. And I'm like, well, why do? And they have never fixed it. This is the opposite, in that They just made it too difficult for people to actually control what emails they get, and so they're just shutting them down entirely. I don't like push notifications. I think that's a terrible way to live your life, to have push notifications sent to your phone to say, hey, someone uploaded a YouTube video. Like, that's just such a disruptive thing that, other than jokes and like a little lower third that I don't even verbalize, I never really push anyone to use push notifications for my videos because I can't imagine using it myself. I turn off every form of notification that I can, unless it's important ones, because at no point would I want to be in the middle of my day and be disrupted by a ping that then says someone uploaded a YouTube video. And people who subscribe to them and don't use them, it hurts the click-through ratio for those notifications, thus hurting the video and the channel. And so I just don't think it's something to push, but that is what everything is moving towards. Email was much less disruptive. If you got a subscription summary in your email inbox of channels that had subscribed to you, or that you had subscribed to rather, that, you know, here's all the cool videos uploaded this week, that's something you can manually check a little bit easier in a condensed view versus just scrolling infinitely through the subscriptions feed and pick out a video to watch versus having videos assaulted at you the second they go live. I don't know. I'm not a fan of notifications. I at least preferred the email, you know, system. It's kind of sad it's going away, but more importantly, I think they've introduced a weird new change in that if you check the box on a video, and in fact, I'm going to pull up the video editor so I can show you what this looks like. If there's 2 check boxes on videos that you can check to indicate whether the video is sponsored or has an ad placed on it or something like that. So I'm going to pull this up over here, since this doesn't have any sensitive information. If you're in the video editor for YouTube, you go to more options. Over here at the bottom under additional options, they have my video contains paid promotion like a product placement or endorsement. You can check that. What that was originally meant for was so that YouTube does not run competing ads or conflicting ads on that video. So say I have an ad spot for Nerd or Die and I check that box, they then make sure that no ads that run on the video are for like Owned or another service that competes with Nerd or Die, because that's really crappy to brands, both who are paying AdSense money, which is their priority, as well as who are paying me to run the ad. It conflicts to have opposing companies do that. Really frustrating. So they have a system in place with that checkbox to make sure that doesn't happen. That is what that checkbox is for. They have, once a whole lot of the FTC stuff started cracking down a couple years ago, they added a second checkbox to say, add a message to inform my viewers of paid promotion. And this adds a little note on the player that says this video contains paid promotion. That's for if your entire video is sponsored. So the different use cases here would be, I'm going to check, you have to check both boxes to use the second box, but I'm only going to check box 1 if I'm running an ad spot or an affiliate link spot, or I have something like that where, you know, you start the video, it says, hey, Nerd or Die, there you go, boom. You check that box, so ideally, although someone in the description is saying that they still get owned ads anyway, but in theory, that was what it was supposed to be. For all I know, they've actually removed that system and don't even bother with it for. That's when you're supposed to check the first box. The second box is when the entire video is sponsored. So if I do like a sponsored Intel tutorial, or I do a sponsored, I'm doing, you know, a full video where it's sponsored by the company, and I'm up front like, this video is sponsored by Synology, or Intel, or whatever, and the whole point of the video is being paid for by someone else. Then you want to declare that very clearly, because that's a different situation from an obvious sponsored spot, you know, an ad spot. Those are 2 different kinds of sponsorships, and that checkbox helped differentiate it. They're now forcing everybody to have that message displayed even if they check the first box. This is a problem because it causes confusion for viewers. If I check the box because my video has a Nerd or Die ad spot, and then it shows, hey, this video is completely sponsored, then that says to the viewer that maybe the core topic that I'm talking about or the core product I'm reviewing is also a sponsor, which isn't the case. And now I have to either do more work to make that clear, at which point this viewer may not believe me or think it's weird that I need to, you know, make that more clear. Overall, it makes things more confusing for the viewer when the whole point of all of FTC's guidelines are to make things more clear to the viewer what the actual relationship between a potential sponsor and the content creator is. And now they've completely removed this. So now my choice is either to not check that box and risk competing ads running, which seems to be the case anyway, apparently, according to Karen in chat, or to do it and risk the PR issues of content creators, or of viewers rather, not knowing what content creators are doing in terms of sponsor relationships. So it's really, really crappy IMO. We got like 2 or 3 final topics here real quick. Crysis, I haven't even watched it yet. Crysis just put up a new trailer for the Crysis Remastered that is officially releasing on September 18th. It will have ray tracing, 8K capable textures, all sorts of stuff. I am super freaking stoked for it. Very, very stoked. Also, I got an email. I get a bunch of emails about indie games, and I usually ignore them. But there's a new game called Nexomon Extinction, which is a Pokemon clone, and kind of like Tim. But Tim felt like it was, it was completely unfinished, to be clear. It was a beta with a lot of stuff missing, but it felt like it was too many skips past the Pokemon experience. Whereas what I'm seeing of Nexomon actually looks more true to the, like, Pokemon, at least that I enjoyed, experience. And they had a whole list of all, like, the Pokemon Nexomon in their system. I'm not seeing it right now, but they had like a full Pokedex, basically. Nexopedia, here we go. Like, this looks like a Pokemon game. And so that gets me really excited. Yeah, they got this whole Pokedex thing going on. Like, this looks like a true to form Pokemon game. And so I'm probably going to check it out at some point. This is apparently a sequel. They already had one. I never heard anything about it, so I don't know how good it was. But I am excited for that, regardless. One final topic here I need to run. It's already been an hour. We have to go pick up our groceries. Burger King apparently uploaded this to their YouTube channel as well, but as far as I know, they never actually ran the ad. But the ad agency that built the ad uploaded this video of the King of Streams, which is a Burger King ad featuring other streamers who were donated to or tipped by Burger King, and then them reacting to it. And then they cut out their face cam, they added text-to-speech for the donation message, and added in stock gameplay because they can't show the official games that the streamer were actually playing. And a lot of people are pretty mad about this. A lot of people are mad because they feel it violated their copyright or something by using their content without their permission. They feel violated in the sense that they turned their own stream into a Burger King ad, which they did not consent to. They also just felt like a lot of things were taken kind of out of place in order for it to happen. I thought the video was kind of funny with just the reactions. All of the text-to-speech that they featured in the ad was completely added in post, so you could totally, like, if you were someone who got an ad like that, you could click, because they were very long, you could click to skip it, and then not acknowledge it, and for the most part, your stream is not an actual ad for Burger King. Viewers will be like, what the heck was that? Probably a troll, and move on. Like, it didn't actually serve as an effective ad within the stream itself. But a lot of people were very mad about this, especially since it was basically trying to build a brand relationship with a $5 tip, which is not how much a streaming ad would cost. Way more than that. And only thinking it's worth $5 per streamer or whatever. So there's a lot of issues there, especially when, you know, there are ways that Burger King could have actually worked with content creators for this, and now that bridge is kind of burned in many regards. But I will say, companies such as Cash App, Logitech, and I believe even SteelSeries all do this on the regular, but what they do instead is they just gift subs or, you know, give big tips without actually like a commercial message. They just, like, Cash App will randomly drop into a Twitch stream and gift 100 subs to somebody. It's still advertising, and it's still kind of scummy in some ways, but it at least gives back in a way that doesn't offend anyone, because, like, they're just like, here's subs for everyone, and everybody's like, yay, and the streamer makes money, and so, you know, the viewers get emotes and stuff like that. So this was probably not the direction to go with it, but it has been interesting to see the different side of the reactions to this, because a lot of streamers were super upset for it. And then one person tweeted out, like, he was mad that they cut out a whole conversation with it, which of course wouldn't have fit in the ad, but it seems like most of the people they got donated to, the rest of what they said after the commercial bit was actually how bad they feel about Burger King. So this really backfired either way, and they probably won't be running the ad as an actual ad. But it was kind of amusing to see as just a weird blip on the internet in 2020, regardless. That is it for today's streamer news episode. I do hope you enjoyed, despite all the hiccups and the weird Sony Imaging Edge demo. Don't be surprised if I cut that out as its own video, as I think people will still be searching for that on its own anyway. So I may cut that out and release it as its own video. And yeah, so hope everybody has a great weekend. Hope next week is better than this one. I gotta go get some groceries. You guys stay awesome. Join us on Discord, eposvox.gg/Discord. I actually have some really big news to share soon that I am super stoked for, so keep an eye out for that. Go check out the products we showed in the unboxing segment, such as the GComp Switch, the RetroTINK, and whatever. And I will see you guys in the next one. I don't know why I did that. Talk to you later. Bye. I just want to give a quick note. Screw the people who keep disliking the video and don't seem to understand how YouTube works with regards to premieres and streams. Premieres exist for a reason. This isn't a premiere. I've been running this show on my channel for a year now, so if you were actually a subscriber, you would know that this is a live show if you've paid attention. I don't understand how people can't just be like, oh, it's a live stream, I'll move along, and not be super nasty and toxic about it when it's a feature that's existed on YouTube for years. It's super bizarre. I don't get it. I just needed to vent. Have a nice day. Bye.